Hello, I'm Rodimus 2099, and welcome back to the the 13 spooky reviews and 13 spooky days. Yeah, I already reviewed this figure. Yeah. Anyway, I'm out. No, I'm just joking. Today I decided I'll do a movie review for Venom. I did want to give you guys time to see it so that you didn't have to wait a month to watch it because you didn't want to see the movie. You didn't want spoilers for the movie. So I gave you plenty of time, a lot of time to see the movie, which I'm going to tell you, disclaimer, if you didn't like the movie, you can just click off this video right now. I liked it, and I'm going to explain why. I'm a huge Venom fan, so I like Venom. But I am a big Venom fan ever since he was released, and ever since I started reading about him, which was in some Spider-Man issues, and then I started reading him in his own solo issues that he got later. And of course, I have loved him even when he traveled to space. And same with Iron Man. I mean, Iron Man can do it. Venom can do it. Venom should do it. But I did really like those comics, especially the Venomverse ones, which maybe I'll do a review of later. I don't know. Maybe I'll even review it in this video. But anyway, that's sort of when Venom travels to a different world type thing. There's some one number world, and then there's a different number world, and then in one of those, Venom is taken over. So yeah, but I still liked it mostly because Tom Hardy as Venom was pretty cool. Definitely a good actor. I think that was a good choice for them. I also think that seeing Riot and Carnage sort of both hinted at was pretty cool. Riot was probably a good villain, especially the guy who was him. I think it was Drake something, not the actor but the actual character. It had an interesting plot, which some people say there was no plot, but really you couldn't be as skeptical as you can with normal Marvel movies. You still have to know this is Sony. This is not grade A Spider-Man Homecoming material. This is more, we have this character, let's make a movie about him, we'll make money off him. That is sort of how Sony thinks, I think. That's sort of how Sony thinks. Hey, we have these characters, how can we make money off them? Well, let's just even if we make a terrible movie, we're still going to make money off them. People are going to see them. That's why they keep on releasing X-Men movies, even though they have no strict order. Well, Apocalypse can cut people's heads off with sand. When all these people are fighting him, and there's a whole bunch of sand around, he can't just do that. Just chop off someone's hand with sand. See, there's not that much consistency with Sony and Fox, where Disney is, of course, trying to be that outcast, that little thing that says, hey, we actually work on these movies, we make them good. We're over here. And I mean, that's what they do. That's what they want to do. That's what they are trying to do. And I think maybe they shouldn't have at all canceled Defenders and Iron Fist and Luke Cage. I'm very angry about that. Even though Daredevil this season is pretty amazing. But still, I mean, Sony and Fox aren't really trying to do that. They know they aren't going to be as long-term as Marvel, as Disney. So if Disney keeps on making really good movies that have a consistent story, and they don't want to just profit off them, then that makes them seem better. And that's why the movies are better. I just watched Infinity War. It's still fantastic. Even for the 15th time, it's fantastic. Because they do keep a level of consistency. Well, Thanos can use the gauntlet. This is in Doctor Strange can make it turn back time. Well, Thanos can do that too, because he has it. And they really do need to explain certain stuff, but not a whole lot. What Fox has to explain is an entire list. And of course, Sony did try their best on this movie. I could see them actually trying to involve characters. They included J. Jonah Jameson's son, who is an astronaut, which I did like that little hint. They included Riot, Carnage, and I think those other two symbiotes, the blue one and the yellow one, were hinted at other two symbiotes, but I forgot what their name was. But in all honesty, I thought it was a good movie because it was not trying to be a movie. It was trying to be sort of Venom. It's a darker story. It's not entirely full. It's not entirely thought out. It's not entirely everything. It's just a movie. It's just a movie. Sure, it doesn't. As you can say, it doesn't have a plot. It obviously tries to. Venom. Eddie Brock is sort of failing at life. Like, loses his girlfriend, loses his house, loses that annoying cat in the movie, and loses his job. And so he's pretty, like, down, beat up, and then he's always still nice to people, like poor people. Then he finds out this thing, and so he decides to use that, because since he knows what to do, he just decides to do everything that really a normal anti-hero should do. He's not perfect, he eats the head off the villains, but he does fight them, and he does actually end up winning. And I think that's what they really have to do. See, Marvel and Disney really haven't. You say Marvel sometimes, really it's just Disney, because they do own the majority of characters. Like they own the Guardians, the Defenders, everything now. But really, I do think that if Fox is going to still continue movies, they're not going to be good, because they are trying to do an anti-hero. Deadpool and Daredevil are not anti-heroes. I'm going to admit that right now. You may say they are. They both do terrible things, but they still do good. They are more, we're trying to be heroes, where Venom is just the definition of anti-hero. He's a villain most of the time, but then he can be perceived as good. Sorry if there's glare. Sun just decided to come out. Stupid sun. But even though Venom doesn't do everything right, and I know this is just rambling on, and probably boring, and you're probably bored right now, but even though he does try to be a good person, still gonna be a villain. I do think that the one thing that they should have included was how he got the symbiote, was it escaped from the lab, and then it went on to, it could go 6 months later again, and then we could find out Eddie Brock walking into a church, and then he hears the bell, and he goes under it, and then the symbiote falls on him. That would have been a much more interesting and comic book way to introduce how he got the symbiote, which I think is what people got most angry about. But I do think that if Marvel is going to have Tom Hardy play Venom in their story, and the MCU, well, they could easily do something where Spider-Man is fighting Venom because he thinks he's a bad guy, and when he does, the symbiote falls off and ends up on Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man doesn't realize, and Eddie Brock is like, I lost everything now, really everything. And like, he gets fired from his job, I know that's pretty recurring, but he could lose everything, and then he could just be like sitting and moping in the church, and then symbiote falls back on him, yay, symbiote brother love. I think that would be an interesting take for Marvel to do. But I'm gonna say I personally like the movie because my favorite actor plays as Carnage. He also played Tobias Beckon from Solo, which is why I kind of liked Solo. And I did like him in Now You See Me and Now You See Me Too. He was the mentalist, and he was just hilarious. But yeah, I do think that, hey, maybe Sony and Fox could put in as much effort as, obviously, as Disney does. They can make really good movies, and I think they could. And maybe they have to start doing that for the future. For the future 2 movies that I may not see. For the future 2 movies for Fox. Which, I mean, I may see the Dark Phoenix one, but I'm not going to see the New Mutants. If it's like a horror movie, it's going to be terrible. Because mutants aren't really a horror topic. Venom is, because he's Venom. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching this episode, basically of Rodimus Rants, where I talk about a movie, and I know this isn't really a movie review, I'm just saying it's a good movie, and then I'm explaining why people think it's bad, because the MCU is good, and they take time. But yeah, I mean, I'd say if you haven't seen it already, see it. It's still a worth watching movie. It's Venom, so yeah, it's worth watching. It's worth sitting through basically 2 hours of, because it's still a good movie, even if you take all those things. Well, it's Venom, it's terrible, blah, no plot, no polka dots. Still, if you take that all away, good movie. Anyway, that's what I think. I hope you enjoyed listening for 10 minutes. Probably you didn't, probably you didn't. Anyway, I'm gonna go right now. See ya. Signing out. Something. Commence outro.